be able to have real conversations with people about certain things when they come to you, and not try to gloss everything over because we have to. We're in the world, right? But we're in the other world.
The D.Fos podcast. Welcome to another episode of the D.Fos podcast. We are broadcasting live from Vegas Hype Media Network, the premier podcast studio. Also, my man Quan on the board. Shout out to Quan on the boards. Today, we got a special guest, Pastor DeWayne Mccoy. He's a pastor, a businessman, a real grassroots guy in the community. Then helped a lot of people. CEO of the new aftermarket. Arizona Cardinals fan, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's only about two of us in the city. So,
long as he don't run into my Chicago Bears, we good. So I just want to welcome Pastor DeWayne Mccoy to the show, man. Appreciate you coming through. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'm good. Just trying to dodge the heat and and live this life, you know.
Yeah. What heat is worse, Arizona or Nevada? You think?
You know what? I'm an Arizona fan, man, but all my time is in Vegas. So my heat is in Vegas.
Yeah, it's real heat out here, man.
Absolutely,
real heat out here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, taking the time out today. I know you're real busy with the aftermarket and everything, and got to preach tomorrow. So I know it's a lot, man. It's a lot condensed. Shout out to your co-pastor, Lady Adrienne Wright-Mccoy. Right,
yeah,
she couldn't make it, but we definitely want to lift her up. Shout out to her.
Somebody got to hold it down.
Yeah. So I appreciate her letting us borrow you for a minute. You know what I mean? We can do your thing. So definitely gonna get into it, man. But just want to talk about everything, man. How the success of everything, a little backstory. We did an earlier interview, but we really didn't get the whole thing. So we'll talk about, for people that don't know, I haven't brought it up to speed. We'll bring it up to speed. A little bit of background, a little bit of going forward. So. Like I said, man, just appreciate it, man, and welcome, man. I know you just celebrated a birthday, too, recently.
Yeah, man. I just crossed
Happy belated
over.
birthday. Yeah. Was it the big 4-9 or what?
No, big 5-0.
It's the 5-0?
Big 5-0.
Oh, man, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, yeah. Oh, man, what'd you do for it, man?
Went to sleep like a 50-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the naps be real, don't it?
Listen, that's from God right there. Those
man, that's be real. Yeah. I didn't know it was the big 5. I thought we had one more year. You in there now, bro.
I'm in there now. I'm waiting on that AARP card.
Yeah, for real.
I want all my discounts.
Hey, bring it on, man.
Hope it works for gas.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, though, man.
Yeah.
A lot of brothers, man, don't. I say, from 40 to 50 is the deadliest decade, man. You know what I mean?
Right,
for men, black men in general, man. So that's a definitely a blessing, man.
Right.
I remember Pastor Parson had a seminar she did for men a couple years back called Before I'm 50.
Before I'm 50, I was at
and you kind of you kind of document what you wanted to do,
exactly.
For 50. I didn't kind of feel short, but man, you didn't have a phenomenal run up to 50, man.
Oh yeah. It's
you didn't have
nice
a phenomenal run, bro. I mean, really, man, accomplished a lot, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just definitely hats off to you, man, for what you've been doing, man. And we talk about you're a pastor and your ministry. Y'all celebrated 7 or 8 years
7
now?
years. We'll be celebrating the 8th year this October.
Okay, congratulations on that. That's hard doing that, man.
It's like dog years, So every 1 year is like 7.
So right, every one.
Every one is like 7,
man. Yeah. And his church is the Foundation Christian Center, 3950 Las Vegas Boulevard.
Absolutely.
Service time is at 9 a.m. on Sundays. And he always got a fire word for you. So if y'all haven't been to none of his services, you definitely got to check it out. He definitely got a fire word. He going to speak to you. I always got something hot to drop on it, man. And, speaking about ministry and church and whatnot, what was a defining moment that brought your life, that you changed your life, for God? What would you say, man?
Because when we coming into Christ, man, most of us get saved like 15 times, right?
Yeah.
And when you say the defining moment, you mean that for real.
For real.
That for real. that particular moment was actually after my mom's house got shot up with a drive-by over on Lexington over that way. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Bullet went through the house and hit my brother in the head. Hit him in the head, you know, and so we ended up rushing to the hospital, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty lengthy story, but we ended up, I wasn't around, but I was on my way there, and I had been doing a lot of ministry with worship, singing, doing my CDs and stuff like that, you know, and trying to be an artist in the ministry.
Okay.
And on the way, I got the call on my way to the hospital. All I was concerned about was whether or not my brother was baptized, whether or not he was saved, whether or not he was saved. You know what I'm saying? So I remember coming across Cheyenne over there on Losi. I stopped at that 7-Eleven. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yep, Shiny, yep.
And I bought a bottle of water because my goal was to see if God would allow me to baptize my brother in the hospital. You know what I mean?
Wow, it was serious, man.
It was serious. It was serious. So you got the bullet in the head, and so I'm driving down there, and on my way there, I'm spiritually, I'm having this whole conversation with God, not out loud. I'm just having this whole conversation. And when I got to the hospital, I said, Lord, if there's a preacher in me, then today he comes out, and I ask you to allow me to baptize my brother. I'm not worried about if he lives here or not. My only concern was if he gets in.
The afterlife.
The afterlife.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? I needed him to get in. And so I went to the hospital, trying to make a long story short. We were in the hospital, and I went and locked myself in the restroom at UMC, because you know that's where they take us all at, right?
Yeah, you might come out.
You might come out. Yeah, you might come out. So I was, you know, he might come out. I was in the restroom trying to get it in, you know? And I prayed, and when I came out of the restroom, the doctor came out to talk to my family, and he said, that if my brother lived, he would be a vegetable. And he said they were going to have like a 14-hour surgery or so on it.
Wow.
And everybody, you know how the family gets. Everybody got hysterical, man. But I had a peace that surpasses understanding.
Yeah, only God
exactly.
can give you that.
And so my peace was so overwhelming at that moment till the doctor asked me, was I okay?
Really?
You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Everybody else all on, you know, doing that
probably
thing.
shook, man.
Right.
Like,
and I'm just standing there because I'd already had a conversation with the doctor. You mean, come on in the room. You know what I'm saying? I already had a conversation with the doctor. And so, make a long story short, he went into surgery. The surgery was supposed to take like 14 hours. It took 45 minutes.
Dang.
They said he would be a vegetable, but in about 2 weeks he was at home, you know, creating new baby mamas.
New baby. So he was all right.
He was all right. He was all right. He was all right.
Praise God.
But there's a story he told me when he got out. He said, he told my mom, he said, he remembers trying to leave the hospital. And he told her that as he was walking away, he heard me say to him, boy, get back in this bed. I'm not done with you. But he heard my voice. And he told my mom, he said, I'm looking for a preacher. He said, I'm looking for a preacher.
Ain't
He
that
said,
something?
yeah. He said, he got a bald head and he preached with a purpose. You see, at that time I had my braids. You know what I'm saying?
I remember the braid. Yeah, I remember that.
He said, I'm looking for a preacher, but only God knows what the conversation we had before that. And he established that, I heard you.
He heard your voice.
He heard me. And what God did for me, he told me, he said, because you asked for his eternal life, I gave you his life. And I'm going to be real honest with you. For years after that, my brother's well-being, because he started having seizures, my brother's well-being was connected to my lifestyle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I made that promise to God, and then when I started trying to get out there, slip a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Try to do my thing on the slide, my brother get taken to the hospital for having a seizure. As soon as,
and it was directly connected to you.
But I'm going to tell you, I was out there, trying to trick a little bit.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Keep it 100,
Real talk,
right?
real
We'll
talk.
keep it 100. And so I'm going out there trying to trick off. My brother getting taken to the hospital. And on his way to the hospital, he telling mom, he said, D-Man sent me to the hospital. D-Man
I heard D-Man.
You know
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But that was directly tied to your lifestyle, how you was living.
You know what I'm talking about? Scared straight. I'm like, okay. I got to make sure I walk circumspect because there was a connection there. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for that. It helped me. Watch me, because once it's one thing to live for Christ for yourself, but when you start living the lifestyle for others, so
people.
that they can make it in, it's something different.
Yeah, like it's bigger than me. Other people are depending on me.
It's bigger than me. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of men, we need a reason to do right. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I need a reason to get up and go to work. I need a listen, because if it wasn't for my wife, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pastor Dave. If it wasn't for her, you know, I'd have had me a nice ride living in the project.
Right, and been cool.
And been cool.
Hood rich, huh? Hood rich, cool.
Barrio Fabuloso. You understand what I'm saying? I'd be straight ghetto fabulous. But I need a reason.
A real reason.
Other than me. Sometimes to do what's necessary.
Yeah. How far along was you in your walk with God? Like was you a pastor yet, or was you just coming along, or like when that happened with your brother? Was you?
No, I was actually in the studio. You know what I'm saying? I was recording. I was doing R&B, rap hooks.
Yeah, he has an extensive gospel career too.
Right,
he was rocking with Smitty Beats for a minute, right? Yeah, a lot of his stuff is on YouTube.
Exactly. He got a ton of stuff we did together. And so I did a gospel project. I had just did the gospel project because my grandmother said that's probably what I should do. So I did it, you know, on the strength.
Was
you
trying to do secular stuff at first?
Oh yeah, man. I wanted to replace Bobby Brown. You know what I'm saying? When Bobby left New Edition, I thought they was gonna get me. You know what I'm saying?
Man. That's wild, man. That's wild. And so grandma told you probably need to go that way?
Right. And I did it, and you know what I'm saying? And I just did it to do it. And
but you didn't really feel it like
I was feeling it while I was doing it, you know, because when you hit the mic, you hit the mic. You know what I'm saying? And I was feeling it. And so I'm over here. I got this project. And my grandma was like, well, just put it out. I said, what you mean just put it out? So I started just doing it from the trunk, right? And so I'm in the studio trying to record R&B, doing hooks. I think I was with 420. I did some stuff with 420 and all that.
Wow.
Yeah, you remember that with Smitty and all them?
Yeah,
we
with
had
Smitty,
with the Vegas Nights, that
Vegas
project
Night,
I was on that project.
I remember,
I'm in the studio trying to do all that stuff, right? And the gospel is running out. I mean, it's flying. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong lane.
I'm in the wrong lane.
You know what I mean? So that's what was going on with that, and it was enough to get me hooked in, baited in, and then God had to begin to peel some things off of me, and solidify the whole walk.
It's a pruning process, man.
It is.
Yeah. And I noticed too, just with gospel music or content, it's unlimited. You ain't got to try to think of the next ratchet song or the next club song, but the gospel is so pure that you can come stuff pure from your heart.
It's true. Church was the first place I realized that I could openly be emotional, cry, whatever, and not be ashamed of it. Actually, be respected for it a little bit more.
Respect. Right.
Yeah, exactly,
right.
exactly.
Definitely a level of respect, man. That's what I said. Just being around, fellow Christians and being in the church, I said, Christians are some of the realest people. I thought cats in the street were real, but cats in the street are lie and do all things. But when you standing up in here and walking in the spirit, that's when you really meet real people.
But that's the key. You said when you're walking in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's the key.
We got a lot of people that's in the church that ain't in the spirit.
In the spirit, yes.
Right. And so when you find them in the presence of God, they are authentically themselves. You know what I'm saying? What I heard you saying before, it says you are who you are when you're alone.
Yes.
And so when the presence, and like I know when the presence of God hits the room, you feel like it's just you and him. And it could be hundreds of people around you, but you truly feel like it's just you two. And you begin to be authentically you. Yeah.
One-on-one.
Exactly.
One-on-one. Yeah, that's real tough. I remember, I think I told you this before, is that, and we'll get into this, when I first came to where you are now, but when New Antioch was down there, right? Now, it was some kind of play, right? And so, you did a spin on it, and I seen this cat come running out the stage with his braids. I'm a hustler, baby. I said, okay.
Just want you to
know. Who is this cat, man? And what I first thought, I said, oh, it's one of these church cats trying to be street.
Right.
But I realized it's a street cat in the church.
In the church.
You know what I mean? Baby. I said, and it caught my attention. I said, you know what? Keep an eye on that dude. That dude kind of, you know what I mean? I'll never forget that, man. I think it was the first time y'all was doing some kind of play, man.
I think it might have been, was it Christmas or something?
It was something, man. But you came out there, I'm like,
they had me playing the devil. I said, I could do that.
Oh man, I'm like, man, who is this cat, man? And so even like the New Antioch days, man. Like, how did you find New Antioch? How did that happen?
Yeah,
man?
Okay, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
shout out to Pastor Parsons, New Antioch Christian Fellowship. man. That's the foundation, man.
Absolutely.
How did that happen, man?
Okay, New Antioch was located where we are now, 3950 North Las Vegas Boulevard, 89115, right?
Okay.
Now, like I know, right around the corner was the Barcelona with the,
the Barcelona.
You know what I'm saying?
Is it still down? Did they tear it?
They tore it down about a month or two ago, right?
That's what I thought.
So right around the corner was the Barcelona, right? So I'm trying to look for me a church that I could go to early in the morning, right? And still go home and catch the game, right? So they had the 8 o'clock service.
Yeah.
I hit the Barcelona, put my parlay ticket in, praying for a victory, sliding right in the Bible on my favorite text. You know what I'm saying? And then I slip up into New Antioch about 8 o'clock.
Man.
So I'm trying to parlay and pray.
At the same time.
Lord bless it.
Man, that's so crazy, man.
But the word, when I slid in there because of the time frame, but the word was good. The worship was crazy and the word was good. And I went from just going in there just to get my church in before I watched the game to going to 8 o'clock service, hitting, you know what I'm saying, 10 o'clock service.
Want more of it.
And now I'm back at 6 o'clock. And then when they open Aliante, I'm doing all 4 of them. I'm I couldn't get enough of that thing, man. But I came just to say I went to church.
Yeah. And just to check it off the box initially.
Check it off the box and watch my games at the house. Right? Can we tell the truth?
Yeah. hey, tell them, might as well, man. Because, you start at 8:30, 8 o'clock.
Right.
You got a chance to make that 10 o'clock game.
Oh, my God. You got to kick off and everything. And so after that first quarter when your ticket dead, you got time to go back down. Yeah. Let me stop.
Real talk, though, man. Hey, we all came from something. You just keeping it real, man.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? You just keeping it real,
brother. Barcelona got half the time.
Right.
They took half of the time.
Half the time, man. That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
When did you feel the call because obviously you grew in the ministry as you was going. You did the whole thing with minister and worked through the ranks and all that stuff. When did you feel the call to pastor?
The call to pastor, I didn't want it, right? You know what I'm saying?
And that's usually what God wants us to do is what we don't want to do.
Right. Because the truth of the matter is if you want it, if you want to be pastor, if you, I want to be a pastor, I want to be this, and you want it like that, I don't believe you understand the work. Yeah. And if you want it like that, you are potentially a person who will take God's glory. God tends to use a lot of people who did not want it because you didn't want it. You know that there's nothing and you can make it done. So, and so I found myself at with Dr. Parson, with my mom. She was training us for that, and she was always telling me. She said, "I got to get you out of here this year. You need to start."
Who was saying this, Pastor?
Pastor Parson.
Okay,
you need
to launch you out of here.
Yeah, because she saw it. She saw it. And I didn't want to see it. And then I found myself, true transparency, in a place where I see her do stuff as a pastor, and and in my mind, in my head, I'd be like, I would have did something different. I would have went this way. I would have went that way. And there was some disagreement, right? Not openly, just me internally.
Just you internally,
Man, why did she do that? I think she should have did that. Man, why did they do that? I think she should have did that. And I woke up one morning and I said out loud to God, I say, Lord, what's wrong with me? I said, I'm acting like an ungrateful kid. This woman has raised me in this thing, has grown me in this thing, and now I tend to disagree with everything she's doing. And you know what he said to me?
What?
He said, because you're a grown man in his mama's house.
Real talk.
And you're getting upset about the decisions she's making in the house I gave her.
Right.
He said, you should have moved out a long time ago.
Yeah, time to go.
I said, oh, I get it. But he speaks to me in a way where I get it. It's not all.
He dropped that in your spirit, man.
He hits me with a 2-piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bing, bing.
Right. And shake you a little bit. It's not like it's not all this, the presence fill the room and all that. It's like look
real subtle, like
And it was where I could get it and I understood it, and I was like, okay, I get that. But she already saw it.
Yeah, she's seen it.
Right.
And she's good at developing people and seeing the potential in people and seeing the future in people.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing, man. And so that's where you and your wife, Pastor Adrienne, met too, right?
Right. We met right there. I actually saw her years before at a show her brother was doing at Flamingo Library.
Frederick.
No, not Frederick. I think it was her brother Bobby. But I think the whole crew was there because they think they the Jacksons.
Yeah. I don't think they something, man. That's crazy,
singing,
man.
They all singing, man. I got around in my man saying, who in here can't sing?
Yeah, they deep like that, huh?
They deep like that, dog. They deep like that. Except Joy.
Oh, man, that's crazy, man. And so y'all got together, y'all man. Then shout out to y'all marriage. Y'all celebrating how many years now?
11.
11.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You almost caught me out.
I caught you slipping, huh? Yeah, caught you slipping.
You about to get me slipping outside, man.
But that's a beautiful thing, man. And y'all been walking this ministry out together, man.
Yes,
Do you think that's the perfect marriage, man? Ministry, marriage, doing it together, man.
It maintains the unity holistically. So there is no real. Okay, this is what you do. This is what I do. It all works together.
Okay,
it all works together, and that's what a spouse is. Your wife is. She's a helpmeet. She helps you to meet the expectation of what God has ordained of you. You know what I mean? You need that other part to get the work done, and that's just truth.
I think it's beneficial. Man.
Yeah, absolutely
definitely beneficial. What would you say the biggest misconception of being a lead pastors are, man?
The biggest misconception? I think the biggest misconception is one that we've created ourselves as if we always got it together.
Yeah.
And so now you have generations of pastors who are trying to get out there and shatter that thought, because the truth of the matter is, dude, I'm struggling with it the same way.
Just like anybody else.
Just like anybody else do. What did Paul say? He said he prayed for God to remove the thorn from his flesh, and God said, my grace is sufficient, right? But the Bible never says what his thorn was.
Yeah, that's true.
It could have been drink.
Yeah.
Could have been women. You know what I'm saying?
It could have been anything.
Could have been anything, right? It could have been anything.
Yeah.
And he said his grace was sufficient for that. And too many pastors have come before us moving as if they don't struggle. And they keep their struggles to themselves. I know everything ain't for everybody to know.
That's true.
But if like for example, I remember I was going through with my first marriage, and I went to a pastor, and I was, not Doc, I went to a pastor, and I began to tell him how I was feeling, because how I was feeling with the wife at the time, and how, I'm saying, I'm feeling like I'm ready to get out there and do my thing, you know what I'm saying? And he began to tell me, he said, just pray. Man, stop, man.
That was all he said. Just pray.
Man. Stop, man.
Like it was just so simple or something.
I know God answers prayer. Let's have a man conversation. When you come to me and say, this is the issue I'm having, be man enough to tell me, you got to die to that thing every day. You know that thing ain't going nowhere.
Die daily.
You know what I'm saying? The Bible says flee. It didn't say lay hands. It say when the women come to you, they say it's flee. It didn't say lay hands on them. It didn't say pray. Say get out of there.
That's what get out.
Get out of there. But we have to be able to have real conversations with people about certain things when they come to you, and not try to gloss everything over, because we have to, we're in the world, right? But we're not the world of the world. But while we are in it, we have to deal with what's in it at the same time,
and deal with real circumstances, real temptations, daily.
There was a story I read when this lady said she ended up having an affair with a pastor, and she followed him. If he was in New York, she went to New York. If he was in Texas, she went to Texas. No matter where he was, she went. If he was at the Hilton, she went to the Hilton. If he was in room 203, she was in 205, right? She was following. What it was is because they asked her, why did she have that affair with this married man? And she followed him. She was a predator towards him. And she said the reason she did it, she said he made her feel safe. Right? And she said no matter what she had to do to feel safe, she didn't care who else got hurt.
Wow. In the meantime.
So she chased him and followed him until she caught him at that vulnerable time. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, at any given moment, any one of us can get it, Doc. So we have to stay prayed up, but we have to watch and pray.
Yeah. I noticed it's like, you keep your guard. As soon as you put them down, you get hit in the mouth.
You get hit in the mouth.
I mean? Yeah. As soon as you put them down,
and men of God, we have to trust the women that God gave us, the wives that God gave us.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, stuff we don't see, they see.
Yes. And they have a very intuitive spirit about it. You know what I mean?
They do.
What's she looking at? I seen her look over 6 times. It's like that. I ain't even noticed nobody. You know what I mean?
And we really don't
but they on something else. They got a whole nother sense, man. And they emotionally wired. You know what I mean?
We really don't notice it, man. We don't see it. We don't see it.
No, baby, her butt too small for me. Oh, really?
She looked like a car payment.
Yeah,
baby. That's what she looked like. She looked like a bill.
But it's real talk, man. They come in and provide that, that bodyguard, if you will, or that barrier, that protection. So definitely bless the ones you've been put with, man. And I think God knows that, who's to match your spirit up with. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to get with nobody you unevenly yoked with. You know what I mean? So, but that's good, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. Definitely. So, fast forward, man. I know you formerly used to work for 3 Square.
Yeah.
You then left that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so now you run in the aftermarket. Congratulations on that. And the location of that is
4337 Las Vegas Boulevard North. Okay. Building B. It's an 89115. It's actually down the street from the church.
Okay, make sure y'all go check that out.
Come see us.
I went by there on the 4th of July, and boy, I'm telling you, got a bag of fish. The pieces, no lie, was at least this big, man. I'm telling you, I can eat all day with it. So make sure y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
And so speaking about that, I know you're supposed to be moving the church too, right? Y'all in the process of moving.
We're in the process. We're gonna put everything on one property because we want to have a campus. We need a one-stop shop for the people. We don't want to have to. If we could feed you naturally here, we want to also be able to feed you spiritually, all in the same.
Yeah, in the same
place. So you don't have to search.
You don't have to run around.
You ain't got to run around.
Yeah.
This is where it is right here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speak about that vision, man, and how all that came about. Because I know it was how long? What is a couple years before you built the store when y'all first started?
This is a vision I had. I think 2017. I had this vision back in 2017, and God gave it to me.
Okay.
I can't take credit for it. I can't say. I was lying out, drawing all this out. God dropped it in my spirit. But you was
operating in your purpose too, and He gave you.
I was operating in my purpose, and my purpose is people, right? So I was operating in my purpose as I had been at 3 Square for like 7 years, and at that particular time, I was like a Joseph almost over the storehouse when 2020 hit and all that.
That was some kind of year, man, for y'all doing
it was. But leading up to that, I had this vision for it, and I tried to get the company to do it at the time. And they didn't want to do it. They said that's not what we do. But right. Well, the truth of the matter is
the same vision you had
the same vision I'm in right now.
Wow, they didn't want to partner with that, nothing like that.
It wasn't going to be a partnership. I was trying to be a good employee and say, here, this is what we can do, and expand, and we can have this, that, and that. I was trying to give away my gift. Okay. God had given me a gift. And I was trying to give it away.
Okay.
And God wouldn't let me give it away because it was for a time such as this.
Yes.
Right. And He's saying basically, I gave this to you. Why are you trying to give it away?
Why are you trying to give it to them? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When did you understand that part of it? When they said no, did you say, okay, maybe it's something else going on
I just held on to it. No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I was heated. You know what I'm saying? I was a little perturbed. Y'all ain't got to listen to me. We tell the truth. You know what you got, right? So y'all ain't trying to hear me, right?
Yeah.
And then 2020 hit. My director at the time came to the office and said, man, you see they shutting down the schools on Monday and this and that and that. And God began to speak through me. And I spoke to him. I said, we need to have a meeting. We need to do this. He'll testify to this. And we need to do this. And we sat down at the meeting with all the execs, and they were like, well, what do you think we should do? And I began to tell everybody what to do.
Because they were shutting down the schools?
Right. Because now we're the only food pantry in the city, and the whole city is shutting down. Everybody's getting laid off. Okay. What are we going to do? Everybody's going to come to us.
Critical decisions to be made.
Right. And so, believe it or not, I basically, in that moment, wrote like 80-85% of their strategic plan. You know what I mean? And laid it out there to the point to where it began to flow. And then people started going home sick and different things like that. And I found myself managing the warehouse, managing logistics with about 19 drivers, and managing community.
Yeah, you was running all of that.
And managing community engagement. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the school police, dealing with Metro, dealing with the officials, trying to make sure everything is shipped and where it needs to be. And I found myself,
a lot, man.
It's a lot, man. And I would go home angry, telling my wife, they got me doing this, they got me doing that, right? And my wife say, they just training you.
And I'm about to say, who knew that would, how did that form? She knew.
She did.
Wow.
She said that. She said they're just training you. You know what I mean? And that's how I saw it. I said, okay, they're just training me. But as time went on, opportunities came, and with COVID, a lot of funding came available. And I had a conversation with a few people. They were asking me while I was working at the job. They were asking me about things that we could do different in certain communities. And so I went and looked at some spots, and I began to tell them my vision I had previously, and
like
I put a number on
underserved
it.
communities,
right? And underserved communities. So, and I put a number on it, and when I put a number on it, they were like, "Yeah, that's a bit."
Like it was too much?
A bit too much, right?
Really?
And so, and as I left that meeting, I went to the house, and God said, "Put it in for the church." And I sat right at the computer, and I put it in and applied for the grants, and the rest of it, you could say, is history.
It's history, yeah. But just doing what God told you to do,
doing what God said when He says do it.
Yeah.
When
and He said put it in through the church as opposed to putting it in through
a CDC. You know, a lot of ministries have the church, and then they have the Community Development Corporation, and what it does is it separates the church from whether it's liability or whatever you want to call it, because once you begin to get federal funding, you basically give the government or whoever you're getting funding from permission to go through your books and other things like that. Yeah. But if the truth is the truth,
the truth, right,
as a church, as a 501c3, your books are open anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it ain't nothing.
It's nothing new, right? Nothing to hide, right?
And He said, put it in through the church. Is that kind of opposed to what it would normally, instead of a CDC?
On the norm, people would do the CDC. And we actually, before people, to keep 100, before I did what God said, before I talked to people who would have told me it couldn't be done.
Before you did that.
Yeah,
they would have talked you out of it.
They would have talked me out of it. If anybody out there talk to that does this, they say, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. But when God said it, I did it immediately. I believe it was on a Sunday. I put it in, but I did it immediately. And it was already in there. Then I was telling people what I put in for this. Oh, yeah, you got to have a seat. You have to do that. And then, then we got pre-qualified. Then we got qualified. And everybody like, what? How?
Wow.
You know
Against
what I'm
the grain, man.
Against the grain. What God gave me a revelation about that. We talk about the wealth of the wicked and how it's stored up for the righteous, right? And anything in storage, you got to do what? You got to go get it.
You got to go get it.
You got to go get it. And somewhere along the way, ministries, pastors, leaders have gotten away from the fact that we are stewards of what God gives us.
Yes.
It doesn't belong to us. We are stewards. So the money that comes to the church, we're stewards over it. So we do what God say do with it. The buildings we get, we're stewards over it. So we do what God say do with it. And a lot of ministries got away from that stewardship piece and start acting like they were ownership, right? And so with that, a lot of funds began to get misused. So a lot of churches couldn't get grants, couldn't get that. Why? Because
they misappropriating the funds.
We made our name. We did something to our name. We got our name dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Bad look for it.
And it wasn't just the name. All they're gonna say is the church did this.
That's all they're gonna say.
Right. They're not gonna say which denomination. They're just gonna say
the church.
It was the church. And what God showed me, He said, what we've done, what He's done, not what He's done with what He did with us, and the grocery store and the grants and all that. He said what He's done is, in order to access the wealth that is stored up in the fund and as grants or as allocations coming from the government, because they got all kind of money. They just pull it out the air, right? You know what I'm saying?
Stupid money,
right? And so in order to access that, this was the revelation. A lot of us lost our eye of stewardship and went to like we're owners, right? But we're really just stewards.
Really just stewards.
He said in order to access that funding that's stored up, you have to go back to the stewardship, but because it's a grant, there is a legalistic documented stewardship that basically says what God already decrees. This doesn't belong to you.
It doesn't belong.
You have to do what you said you're going to do with this.
You got to do the right thing.
You got to do the right thing. So now it's not just your character saying that you're going to do the right thing. You got your character lining up with some documents. That say,
legally binding.
Legally binding you to what you should have been spiritually bound to. You know what I'm saying? So God said you need to move this way, but we got free will. So in order to access what's on the other side over here, this stuff that's stored up, then you're going to get a legal binding to what you should have had spiritually already.
And I think it's key to understand that.
You're almost got guardrails to try to keep you.
To keep you in,
Right, because the truth of the matter is, when the rubber meets the road, if you do what you say you're going to do with the funds, there is no issue.
There's no problem.
If you do what God says do with what comes into the ministry, there is no issue.
There's no issue.
Right, and so the truth of the matter is, as leaders in ministry, we should always be looking to do what we're supposed to do, or do what we say we're going to do with whatever God gives us stewardship over. That might be the long way around.
I totally agree, though. Like you say, the spiritual connection and the legal connection.
All together.
You can't escape it.
You can't escape it now. You feel like you may be able to get a whole lot of grace from God while you buying your Bentley.
Yeah, right.
You know
right. Yeah.
But you can buy the Bentley, get grace from God, but the government sending you to the Bentley.
Right. On the back end of it.
On the back end, you got grace, you saved, but you finna do this 10 years.
It's gonna catch up to you. It's gonna catch up to you, man. I remember a while back, man, when I seen that video you did when you were still working for 3 Square, when they said a lot of people, they wasn't living check to check, they was living plate to plate.
Plate to plate.
Yeah. How did you know that would be like your mission, man, to like help feed people? I mean, that was so kind of like far off from coming into fruition of what this happened.
I didn't know. But what happened, it came natural.
It came naturally.
It came
organically.
Right. So once you get in the vein, you know what I'm saying? I tell stories and people disagree, family members disagree. I tell some stories that my family member weren't even born. And then, you know what I'm saying, you'll get a generation that wasn't here when it happened to sit there and get publicly and say, you lying, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So real talk, I remember one time back home in Louisiana, at one point, it was about 35 of us in a 4-bedroom house.
Okay,
man.
you originally from Louisiana, right? Yeah, what part?
Tallulah.
Tallulah. Shout out to Tallulah.
The whole west side Tallulah. You know what I'm saying? We gang banging on our first cousin.
All that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
All that, man. All that.
You from Tallulah, that might be your brother.
Might be. Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we have to stay focused, man. It's with that line with the food thing. I remember my mom and grandma getting up 4 o'clock, going to get the government cheese, different things like that, you know. And I remember a couple of times, you know, so many of us hanging out, you know. Now I'm gonna take a little alley right here. The salmon croquettes that everybody loves.
The salmon,
everybody loves that, right?
Bomb,
man. Every time them salmon croquettes broke out at the house, I knew the food stamps had ran out.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
You knew that by that time.
When they pulled out some croquettes, the food stamps had run out, man. So everybody else loved the croquettes, right? I'm sitting there like, we broke down. We gotta wait till the first.
Hey, that was the key right there. That was
for
the key,
me, right? And so I understood that differently. So with the government cheese and all that other stuff, when I started working at 3 Square and seeing the kids in line with their parents and stuff,
you seen a lot, man.
I understood their shame.
Okay.
You know, because the kid is in line with his mom, and God forbid somebody pass by and see you in that food
then you got
line,
that whole
and you got to
shame,
go to school. You got to go to school with that, and so every time they would come by the pantry, I treat them extra. I used to treat them extra special when I used to see them like that, you know. And,
was the pantry like in 3 Square? Was it in one location all the time?
No. The 3 Square is partnered with different ministries and nonprofits.
So it would be a different around.
All
I see what you're saying.
They're all
so
over the city.
All around.
And so as community engagement, I was dealing with about 180 of them all the time, and going back and forth. I go visit them, go check on them, and even some I would establish them. You know what I'm saying? And so even the ones that we did, I would always try to treat the people, especially kids, with a different level of dignity. You know, you come through the line looking for support, you know, and to treat you like a regular human. Because if you come through our line looking for support and you had a cowboy jersey on,
it might be a different story.
We ain't even talking about the food right now. We just dogging out the whole team, right?
That is cold.
But it was that camaraderie. We had the whole team jump on him. You know, everybody, all the pastors, all the business.
Division rival.
He can't get nothing else. Eagles, you can't get
shut
nothing
him down.
Shut him down. He going to the end of the line. But it brought it created a culture. To where everybody who came felt like family. You know
it was like every time it felt
exactly.
And then that's good, man. That's key to, like you said, to remove that shame. It's not about that. It's just coming to get your support, coming to get your help.
And it's the same thing at the aftermarket. It's that was the purpose of putting, because for those who don't know, the aftermarket is a hybrid grocery store. 80% of it is a regular shopping market where you can spend your EBT and all that good stuff, Visa, Apple Pay, all that stuff. Okay. But the other 20% is a food pantry.
Like how y'all got that set up too. Right. And so, it's really nice.
Yeah. Man. And so what happens is now you'll have a family come into the store. They may be down to the last $5, and they may buy something for $3 or $4, and then on their way out they'll shop the food pantry. But when you walk out that door, nobody knows if you make $100,000 a year or if you're on a fixed income.
Yeah. They don't know what your pockets.
They can't be in your pocket. They remove the shame. It removes the embarrassment. And so kids come in, they just like they're at Walmart or anything else. They're just, hey, we're just at the store, and it just has a different feel to it.
That's big, man, and it really, the money, you can really stretch a dollar, like we said, and really go a long way. You know what I mean? Really go a long way. Being that you know, on the other side of this now, and the grocery business, what have you seen with, like, over the past few years with hyperinflation? Have you really seen that?
Since we've started the aftermarket, it really makes me question what's the markup at these grocery stores.
Yeah,
right? Because I'm looking now I'm on this side and I'm purchasing, right? So I'm buying this case of water now. I'm like, why is this case of water like $7?
The markup is ridiculous, man.
You know what I'm saying? What's the real markup? Matter of fact, we have, like, for example, the Arizona teas, right? So we've purchased Arizona teas. You know, the ones, the 22 ounce.
Yeah, the big boys, the big joints.
So we purchased them and we got them on the shelf and we put a mark on it. We feel like we got a decent markup on it. And then we got some cats come from 7-Eleven like, man, your Arizona teas are 50 cents cheaper than the ones at 7-Eleven.
They just gouging, man.
I'm like, you know, our catfish you mentioned about, you know what I'm saying? At the point last I checked it, we were $1.22 a pound cheaper than one of the major food chains. And we don't have their buying power.
Yeah, that's true.
And we don't have that buying power.
That's true, man. They really gouging, man. They doing something, man. You know, they let you know. But I think you got you know, excellent products in there, name brand at a reasonable price. Yes. You can really do some. I think it's really going to help that community.
Yeah,
man.
It is. It already is.
Yeah, and especially since, you know, for those of you that don't know, that Walmart shut down. You know,
right.
How long? Right. What has it been like? About what?
Is it 6 years? I think it's been 6 years since the Walmart.
And it's nothing even remotely close, man.
Now, at minimum, I think it's about 5 miles.
Wow.
Minimum about 5 miles.
That's a blessing. That's definitely a blessing for that community, man.
Yeah,
definitely, man. I know you said that you wanted this aftermarket to kind of be the template for others. So do you envision that being like other aftermarkets around the
country?
Yeah, around the country. Yeah. not even the city. Speak it, bro. Speak it, man.
Around the country. The country, Doc.
So you're using this one as the template.
Right. It's everybody who's come through who have been in positions or been in other areas, whether they're in politics, whether they're police or whatever, they come through and they make the same statement. Man, this looks like the blueprint.
Yeah.
This here could change everything. You know what I mean? There are several, probably more than that, spaces in Vegas that we could pop one of these up tomorrow and change the whole community.
Good, the whole community overnight.
You could change the whole community overnight, and so this is the beginning of something massive. It's the beginning of something massive. I think one of our little things that was on Facebook, Twitter, one of those joints, it got shared like 1,500 times.
That's crazy.
And people way back in Florida saying, how do we get one of these? How do we get one of these here? How do we get one of those?
They talking about that. That lets you know,
it's going down.
That almost validates the concept.
It does.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that validates
does, you know.
Wow. Already.
Right.
Already, man.
Already. Yeah. We haven't been open, 2 months yet?
2 months, yeah.
Not yet.
Since what, June?
We opened June 13th.
Wow.
You know.
So you got all your family working in there?
Well, we got this ministry.
Yeah. It's a ministry. You're right.
So even with how we set everything up, the ministry is to run.
Right, okay.
To run it because it's an extension of ministry. Yeah. It's an extension. See, the difference between when you have a grant-funded project or when you have a for-profit project, and this is kind of grant-funded and profitable for sustainability sakes. When you get people, hire people who are used to doing the ministry work of feeding the people for free already. When they fed people with you for free already. When they've come and helped the homeless for free already. When they've come and made bags.
They're already used to doing it.
They're already used to doing it, and they have a different connection to it. So when you've got them who've done it for free already, and now you make that to where they work, they eat now. They're eating from what they were doing for
they
free.
were doing for
right. If there's ever a moment when you really look at it, if there's ever a moment when the grants dry up, or when we don't have money to pay you overtime, then those are the people who will say whatever it takes to take care of the community. You know what? I'm gonna volunteer. You need me here 2 more hours. You can't afford to pay. I'm gonna volunteer to be here, right? Because my heart is to do it anyway.
You know, I'm gonna charge it to the game.
I'm gonna charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't too many people charge it to the game.
No, they don't, man. They don't know how it is.
I don't even think they know what that means no more.
You get it on the back end though. You know what I mean? Charge it to the game, man. Charge it to the game. It's crazy. I remember on one of your Facebook posts you said, I came to Las Vegas for people to see me sing, but God, now they line up to see me serve.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of the whole thing.
It blew me away. It blew me away because I was standing there and there was a line of about 250 people, and I was like, man, I came here for people to line up to see me sing, and now they're lining up to see me serve. And that was a pivotal moment for God to reveal that to me, because now it's even more so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's even more so.
God's like, look at it now.
Look at it now.
You know what I'm saying? You thought it was going to be one little thing like this, but now it's even bigger.
It's even bigger
because you're serving.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotta have a servant's heart too, though.
You have to. You have to, because the truth of the matter is, I take that side because, I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like, you know, it's hard to help people sometimes. You know
Why do you think that is? What pride? What do you think? What gets in the way? What's hard to help them? Why? Like what?
Because. Let's look at it like this in simple form. Let's look at it like it's family, right? When you're helping your family.
Okay.
Your family begins to get entitled.
Right, yes.
You know, mama been helping sis pay her light bill every summer for 5 years. Now all of a sudden, sister puts mom in her financial plan. Because, You know what I'm saying?
Built in.
Built in. And so you'll find yourself sometimes trying to help people. And the people you're trying to help, after a while, some of them will begin to treat you as if your help is mandatory. You know what I'm saying? This,
absolutely,
it's real.
Absolutely.
That's just real. You know
like
what
I have to do this.
Like you have to do this, and they'll begin.
I think it's part of this in generation, entitled, man. You know what I mean? Like you're not built into my budget, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, you can't be, man. You know what I mean? Like that's great. You right, it is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, and you just got to keep the service hard and remember why you're there, because you'll have 50 people treat you like they're entitled, and then you'll have the one that shows up that's weeping because they didn't know how they were going to feed their kids who are out of school now, and they cut off that extra EBT. You know what I'm saying? They got 6 kids at the house, and it's summertime, and they come in the store with their last $20 and leave out with about enough food for the next week and a half to feed. You know what I'm saying? And that reminds you of why you're here. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have the good, you're gonna have the bad, and you're gonna have the ugly. You just got to remember why you're there.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
and that you help the family, man. They didn't go hungry that night.
They didn't go hungry.
You know what I mean? That's a real issue.
It's hard to sleep when you're hungry, boss. You know what I'm saying?
You can't
drink enough water.
You none of that.
You can't drink enough water.
Man, that's hard, man. Yeah, that's hard, man. Wow, man. Yeah, I was checking out one of your sermons, man, and something that really stuck with me was the price of my sacrifice.
Oh yeah, respect my price.
Yeah, respect my price, man. Speak on that, man. The sacrificial.
You know, all right. You know, I love music. You know what I'm saying? And I would love, you know, for me and the wife to roll up down on the strip, man, and go see Joe, because he came to town, you know, and sit on the front row and throw our hands up and do our thing, right? But we have to sacrifice that, right?
Yes.
Because people can't handle us being human. Man, I saw the pastor at the
and
concert.
You ain't really doing nothing. I mean, at a smooth cat like R&B cat like Joe, even something like that, people would take it out of context.
They take it out of context because now you up in there and you thirsty and you got a cup.
Right.
Now they trying to prophesy about what's in your cup.
What's in your cup? And it ain't a double cup. It just might be a regular cup.
Because even when you grab that cup, you still got that. You still got that little cognac cup.
And they don't know.
It's an old habit, right?
They don't know.
Trying to figure out what's in it.
And
so you sacrifice what you and your family would have enjoyed because your liberty to do it. I know I have liberty to do it, but I don't want my liberty to cause someone else to lose faith in the God
just the way it looks, even though it might not be like that.
Right, it's
just
the perception of it. So we sacrifice those type of things so that you can be all right.
Yeah.
So that, not saying we can't go. You know what I'm saying?
But still, you just don't want to tank nobody's
exactly. And this lifestyle costs something.
Yeah, it really
Salvation is free, but to live this lifestyle, it's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you some friends. You know what I'm saying? I done lost a lot of friends trying to walk this thing out because I'm doing this and they're doing that and it don't mix.
And it don't mix, right.
And I've lost some sleepless nights and I've lost some time with family just dealing with the people God sent to help you. God sent you to help and it's a sacrifice. And people don't think it costs nothing. They just think
it really does, man.
It really does. It really does.
I know. I found God, and like you said, lost friends. You find one thing and lose another, it's just the way it's supposed to go. Right. You know what I mean? It's definitely the way it's supposed to go. I know I heard something too that it said that I don't need it to be easy. I just need it to be worth it.
Be worth it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, man.
Right. You know, if it's easy, it ain't. Most of the time, it ain't no good. If it's
right.
We can testify that with a few women.
Right. Hey, if it's a low entry, if it's a low barrier to entry, it probably ain't worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If anybody can reach up and grab the fruit, it probably ain't worth it. You know what I mean? I want to be able to stretch for that fruit. It's on the ground.
It's on the ground.
Real talk, man. Real talk, man. Absolutely, man. So definitely, like I say, man, just appreciate all the things you're doing, man. You know, all the moves you made in the community, man. And I know this is just the start of it, man. You know what I mean? I mean, like everything you're doing from ministry to the aftermarket, man. It's really blessing the community, blessing people, man. And you so respected and connected out in Vegas, man. It's just phenomenal. I think when your name comes up, man, it's a level of respect. You know, for your anointing, everything you've been doing, man. So keep doing it, man. Keep moving. Thank you. Shout out to Lady A again, Pastor Adrienne Wright-Mccoy, man. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. Y'all got a beautiful situation, man. Anything you want to lead the people with, man, before we get out of here?
Come see us. Come by and see us at the Aftermarket, 4337 Las Vegas Boulevard North, Building B. We're once you cross Craig and Nellis, we're right across from that IHOP, right behind that Walmart. Come see us. The congratulations on Facebook and everything are great, and I thank everybody for them.
With the physical presence.
I need your congratulations to become a manifestation of your support.
Yes.
And show up in there. You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed because you got that EBT that's coming to them kids next month.
Right.
You know,
don't be ashamed. Hey,
you don't want nobody to know you get that EBT. Man.
Right.
Come on,
man. Ain't no shame in it,
man.
Ain't no shame in it.
Some of us wish we could have had a couple.
Right, you ain't lying.
We ain't trying to go backwards, but come on through, man. Show your support, man. Don't just say congratulations. Let your congratulations manifest.
Show it, show it
in the market. Just come through and support like that.
You won't be let down. You know you get a lot for your money, and it's just to support it, man. You know it's hard. You one of the first, one of the few. Black-owned businesses, grocery stores that I've seen in this community, man. The time I've been there. So, man, come out and support it, man. Yeah, the money go a long way. You definitely will be back. Yeah, definitely will be back, man. So, we appreciate you, Pastor. And come to the Foundation Christian Center service tomorrow at 9 a.m. Will you be preaching tomorrow?
No, Minister May will be going.
Minister May,
you already know she always. I
know she come with it, but catch him on another Sunday. You can find him on Facebook, but catch him on another Sunday. He got something for you. Definitely got some fire for you, man.
I'm sure she got something for him. Sunday,
I know she usually come with it. She do. Minister May come with it. Yeah, definitely come with it, man. Shout out to the whole
that birthday wish. That birthday rest.
Yeah, that birthday rest. You need it. How was your trip, man?
It was beautiful, man. We down there in Texas, man. I went to the Cowboy little thing they had on Dallas Cowboy thing, man.
Did you?
Yeah, my feet started melting like I was in lava or something like that. You say, it's like walking on lava down there, boy.
That's crazy, man.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Let's keep it 100, right?
Yeah.
If every believer had the faith of a Cowboy fan.
Oh, man, it changed the world.
The world would be a better place, Doc.
Hey, it changed the world, man.
It changed the world.
Oh, wow, man, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. Definitely, man.
They always win it. It don't matter what
no matter what season. Hey, ain't seen the Super Bowl in 20 years, and they still think they're going to make it.
They win it, Doc. What did the doctor say? Oh, matter, we win it.
We win, right. Man, that's crazy, man. So, Man, D.Fos podcast, Pastor DeWayne Mccoy, Lady Adrienne Wright-Mccoy, the Aftermarket. Go check it out, man. We appreciate your time, brother. Thank you for stopping through, man. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
God bless.
Shout out.